The echoes of a failed relationship can haunt the mind for years and years. That's just a consequence of the transmission that happens between two people's spirit when they engage in intimate relationships. And that transmission, that interaction, that internal spiritual sharing. Hank, come here please. Here, come on. That internal sharing where spirits impart one to another, the soul imparts one to another. That's where things get complicated, because you're taking upon yourself the heart, the mind, the characteristics and the personality in part of the person that you've chosen to be intimate with. And this is why psychiatry and psychology has proven that reckless, careless, intimate relationships only lead to damage and harm, because the infusion of the person's spirit that these people are engaging is unknown. The physical condition of the person that is engaged in casual reckless sex is unknown. And these particular the particular data of that person, the particular condition of that person is imputed. Back in the ancient times in war, the individuals would eat the bodies and the organs and the parts, the brain and eyes and all that of the enemy,
you're on fire.
Oh yeah, gee. Because they did believe that would impart to them all the positive attributes and warrior attributes of the enemy. Here please, of the enemy. Hank. And so that can be likened also to the communion, the Christian communion, where they eat the bread and drink the wine, symbolic of the body and the blood of Christ, imputing unto yourself the body and the blood of Christ to receive the benefits of that. And this in turn, the Bible says, brings the belief that you will receive all the benefits and attributes and likenesses of Christ via a supernatural impartation through faith in taking the communion. There's healing attributes that are associated with that. And these are reflections of what happens to us when we partake intimately with people in the real realm. Hank, this way please. Come on mate. In the real realm. Here he comes. He's a very strong little dog. There's imputations, there's impartations that take place through the intimate act. That's why there's so much pain and so much confusion and so much anguish and other psychological negativities that happen to us when the relationship breaks down, because we're not designed for that. We're not made up to allow someone to come into our life and then disappear, because they become part of us, whether we like it or not, whether it's casual or not, reckless or not, marriage or not. One thing the Bible does share is that these transactions are more of a positive nature in the marriage. Marriage has a supernatural protection facility that happens, whereas on the other hand, without marriage, it's not so positive. The imputations, the transfusions, are believed to not be protected. So this is why people become psychologically infected. And this is why we're warned not to be immoral or not to swap and change. And it all might seem like a joke, or that can't be, etc. But it's not, because go to the mental health clinics, the serious mental health clinics. Here please. The serious mental health clinics, and you'll find that a lot of these people are troubled from relationships. They didn't have the fortitude and resilience to be able to stand up to the pain and agony that takes place when a relationship breaks down. And this is where a lot of the mental health and psychiatric health comes from. What turns out to be an intimate, happy relationship into a painful, harmful, and in many ways abusive in the sense that it was never followed through with. There were things that broke it down. Sad part. This way please. Here, this way. The sad part about all this is sometimes it's not your fault. And we'll go this way please. Hank. Sometimes it's not your fault. It's just a mismatch, or attraction's lost, or some other reasons that are usually out of our control. And what you'll find is a lot of people try to continue in the relationship. Now why? Because there's a godlikeness in us that wants to be faithful, loyal, and try and hold things together. And our identity, who we are, how we feel, how we perceive ourselves, is reflected by the quality of our relationship and how well that's going, or how bad that's going. And a lot of the times we try and find answers that are not a part of ourselves and are not meant to be a part of ourselves. We're looking in a mirror that is not going to give us a reflection of what we need to be doing within ourselves. And so we try harder, we put more effort in, while the other person's just reached their peak, their pinnacle. And they're not going to go any further. They've got as high as they're going to go. Remember, a relationship's only as strong as the weakest link. Don't let the weakest link be you. And so the person that you're with has reached their pinnacle. You're starting to go downhill because it is not as healthy and as characteristically sound and satisfying as it should be. And this is why you should date and not rush into giving your heart away to people. You should give yourself time and that person time to see who each one of you are, how the ingredients of who you are and who they are blend, and what is going to come out of those ingredients is to the benefit or to the deficit, to the credit or to the debit of who you are and who they are. Too many people rush into relationships via the avenue of sex and intimacy, which they believe now they have to be committed, without giving themselves the time to see what is going to generate from who they are and who you are, and whether those mixtures are going to be positive or negative.